WSIC weather not looking good. Showers and possible thunderstorms will be the picture all this week. Today's high near 80, the low tonight 67, tomorrow's high 64. That rain chance? Unbelievable. 90% today, 100% overnight, and 90% tomorrow. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
For 41 years, your Auto Plus Auto Parts store is Johnson's Parts and Supply. Johnson's Parts provides quality auto parts, helping you to get your work done quickly. Your Auto Plus Auto Parts store is located at 1112 Shelton Avenue in Statesville, open Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and on Saturdays from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed on Sunday. Johnson's Parts, your Auto Plus Auto Parts store, located at 1112 Shelton Avenue in Statesville.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely. We hope you go out and visit the fine folks at G&M Milling Company in downtown beautiful Lowray, North Carolina. That's 4000 Taylorsville Highway, 704-873-5758. Give them a call or go visit for all your livestock needs as far as feed or seed or whatever. They'll be glad to help you out.
WSIC. All systems are a go.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina State Representative Jeff McNeely is about to begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Iredell County. Hope everybody's doing well out there. It's a little dreary, folks. I believe we're going to get some rain. I think we're going to get it for a while. I think there's going to be a lot of it, too, so get ready. This is going to be a week or more long thing, I believe. I guess, as my granddaddy used to say, like, rain's like money. It takes it to make it. So it looks like we're getting it, and we're going to keep getting it. So belated Happy Father's Day to all out there, all the fathers. I hope you had a wonderful Sunday and hope you spend time with your family and your children. Get to enjoy them. What a blessing. What a blessing from the Lord. Also, Juneteenth Day, I guess that's actually maybe more of the part of the week there, but I think today's the day we actually celebrate. So all those that participated in those things, I know there was some stuff over the weekend in the States while I was out of town, but I understand it's a great celebration, so good time for that, and take time to think back and look back through history and see all the things that have gone on and how hopefully we've moved forward. So, wonderful thing. Also know this, Pyre Cross, great ministry here in town, works with a lot of underprivileged youth. Had a tragic thing happen to them last week. Lightning struck their facility in Salisbury, North Carolina, and pretty much, other than I think maybe one building was spared, just completely destroyed it just about. And so, tough. That's the only word I can come up with. Jeff and Natalie Stormont and their staff, though, are persevering. They're still serving food and getting the boys tutored and working with them, and they're still going about their way at Salisbury, just like they do here in Statesville. So will not be deterred, and pray the Lord blesses them. So with that being said, they usually have their fund drive right now, my matching funds deal. So if a couple different big donors will match whatever's put up. They need help in the worst way, especially. Great ministry, doing great things. I know their track record is if any young man from 6 to 18 has been in their program 2 years or more, they have a 100% high school graduation rate. And many kids have gone on to get either academic or sports scholarships. Working with them. And so it's a great path for them. And on top of that, a lot of them come to know Jesus. Hallelujah. So I always say that catch them with sports and clean them with Jesus, and then we study them up and teach them up, and they become fine young men. And that's what we need. We need more fine young men in this world. So great job, Jeff and Natalie. Sorry you're having to go through these trials and tribulations. Looks like we got a caller. So Joe, let's take it and see who we got. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got? You hearing anything? I ain't hearing nothing. All right, just making sure. They'll probably try to call back here in a little bit. Anyway, want to catch those things. Also know this. June is National Dairy Month. I don't care what the others say. We had it first. And Iredell is still the number one dairy county in North Carolina. We also have a unique distinction of being the top 10, being 10th place in gate farm receipts, and also being one of the top 15 counties population-wise. There is no other county that has as much population and highest gate farm receipts in the state of North Carolina out of 100 counties than Iredell County. That to me is amazing, that we're still as populated and big as we are, but yet we still have the agriculture going on in this county. And a lot of that's attributed to our dairy farms that we still have. There's not as many as there were when I was a young man, first got out of NC State. There was around 230 some. Now we're down to less than 20, but the cow numbers are fairly close. We're down. I think we're down about 6,000 or 7,000 cows, but still, you would think to go to that rate. But they've gotten larger, and a lot of that has to do with the industry and how things work in the industry, and it all gets down to loading up full tractor trailer loads, tanker loads of milk. That's where the processors want to go with, and that's what they look for to show up at the plant. So it's caused a lot of them maybe to get out that didn't want to grow or couldn't grow or didn't have the ability, and then the ones that could, that had the land base, they have grown, and now they're milking quite a few cows. I think the largest one is probably still Jeff Manus out there, M&M, and he's probably pushing somewhere around 2,600, 2,700. There's a couple of others that are right behind him. So and the Koopmans, they have a couple different facilities in Iredell, and they have more across the state. So cows are there, and they go about their business, and I appreciate them so much for the work they do. It's 8 days a week, 30-some hours a day. Don't know how they get it all done, but they do, and it's impressive. So thank you to our dairy farmers out there, and celebrate June Dairy Month. Go get you some ice cream. Have a big time. Going to move a little quickly in another, and like I said, if anybody else wants to call in, they can. And I guess I need to tell you my guest are today. I've got Commissioner Scotty Brown going to come in, and we're going to talk about the county budget. And also maybe Commissioner Gene Houp might be able to call in. I think he had a doctor's appointment, but he may be able to call in here in the second part of the show, so we'll look for that number to pop up. But we're going to get into the budget a little bit and just see where we're at and what their projections are going forward in the future on it. So didn't want to come out kind of a big publicity thing, and that's all it was. If you'd like to call in and talk, 704-873-1400. Let me know what's on your mind. But the Democrats throughout, our liberal side over there, threw out this bill, Senate Bill 748, here the other day, kind of put it out late. It's not going anywhere at all. And it's the Voter Fraud Prevention Act. And our lady down in Davison, Mecklenburg, Natasha Marcus, one of the two main sponsors on it. And it was basically a shot at Tricia Cotton switching parties, and they're saying, they want to have an election if somebody does that. Well, I think they're nervous that there may be more in the North Carolina General Assembly that may do this. With the radicalness that they've come on that side. So this bill goes nowhere, but it does show me their desperation that they have. Kind of ironic. So we got a caller. We'll see who we got here. Let's take it, Joe. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hey, Jeff. This is Stephen down here in southern Iredell, Mooresville area.
Yes, sir, Stephen.
Great things you're doing for us up there in Raleigh. I know basically it's hog slop. I get it, and I know how that's going, but I just seen where there's a thing against Speaker Tim Moore supposedly having an affair, and I know how all with elections, all that's coming up. Is this a smear campaign, or is this something that we need to keep our eye on? Do you know anything about that at all?
I do know a little bit, Stephen. I've seen the complaint that was filed. I do not know the validity of it at all. So is this somebody out there that's been wronged? I don't know. Or is this a group trying to make a statement? Tim, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
what I'm worried about.
Yeah, Tim, I felt like I was 75% sure last time that he was going to run for one of the U.S. congressional seats, that new district. And I truly believe about 75% of them believes he will do it again. And so this may be, and the district will probably change some once we do some redistricting, because we're allowed to do that now with the last court case. So I'm thinking this is a shot across the bow, possibly by the left, just to smear him. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. It's kind of weird, the timing, but that's politics, isn't it? And so we'll just have to see how it goes, and I hopefully we'll learn more as it unveils. So I don't want to say a lot, and I don't know a lot.
And I understand it. It's just something that just happened.
Yeah.
And I did see that, and that's what I was working, because I know the left's tactics, and I know Tim has been highly regarded by you guys. I think.
Yeah. Done a great job.
Miss Vicki, I think she's had him, I believe, on her shows on Friday. And you may have.
I have too.
With him.
I've had my boss man. That's what I call him. I've had him on quite a few times.
And I know he's the boss man, and I really want to feel good about that. And I just want to make sure that they're just not doing something that they ought not be doing by smearing his name just to eliminate any votes for him. And that's my concern. That's all. And I'll hang up and let you finish.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Steve. Thank you. Yep. This is something that I just found out over the weekend. Just got my hands on it. It's kind of got sent to me, and not through the caucus, but another way. So still figuring it out, still learning. Hopefully we'll see what's going on with this, and if there's any feet to it at all, or legs, as they say. The left loves to cancel. I went through some of that myself here recently. So I understand that they're going to drag you through the mud best they can. So we'll just see how it goes. Sort of getting back to what I was talking about with this Senate Bill 748, once again, kind of the same thing. They're trying to drag Tricia Cotton through the mud too, saying, well, if somebody switches parties, you need to have a special election. Well, that's not the way our Constitution's written, and that's not the way it's going to get written, because this law goes nowhere. But it was great to tweet about, and that's really all they did was get on Twitter. I understand the left owns the internet. We understand that. They're going to out-tweet us. They're going to out-Facebook us. They're going to out-whatever, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Throw every social media platform out there. Obviously they got more time sitting behind the computer than the rest of us do. I guess the rest of us are doing the hard manual labor. But that's what they're going to do. And so this will be interesting going forward, just to how they're going to try to keep manipulating the media like they do, and smearing whoever they can. They're desperate. We have the supermajority in the House and in the Senate, and we're able to move them about and do what we want to a point, as long as we're doing good quality legislation. And so I think that just scares the death out of them, that we might actually get some stuff done and actually maybe help North Carolina move forward instead of marrying us in the mud like we have. I know this. We passed a bill, and we'll be curious to see if Cooper signs it or not. I haven't heard. I don't think he has. But basically, it was to prevent radical municipalities from adopting the bans on gas appliances. And I know a lot of people said, this is a answer to the where there's no problem, looking for a problem, as we say. But that's not necessarily true. There was mumbling of this happening in Asheville, North Carolina. And what you get is you get your far left municipalities that live in an echo chamber, and they see these things that the federal government's talking about, because the federal government's still going through these ideas of banning natural gas and propane appliances, considering we have more natural gas than any country on the face of the earth. So, of course, that's what we'll ban. That just makes complete sense, doesn't it? So this is to stop that. And if you think things like this won't happen, you should go to Raleigh and notice that you can no longer turn right on red in the city limits of Raleigh. Now, this is a state law that we've had for a while, but they've gone to the effort and expense of putting stop signs up at every intersection saying no right on red. Now, I don't know who thought this was a great idea. Raleigh's traffic is getting worse and worse and worse. So why would you do anything to slow the movement of it? And I'm sure there's somebody found some kind of statistic somewhere or another that said there was more wrecks because we have right on red. And I'll tell you what, there's lies, there's dang lies, and then there's statistics. And I can make my statistics work any way you want to, just like you can make yours. It just depends on how you ask the question and the numbers and the way you want to plot them and put them on the paper. So things can happen. Just believe me. A gas appliance ban can happen in Asheville the same as no turn right on red in Raleigh. So just know that. Like I said, if anybody else wants to give us a holler, call on in here. We're getting close to our halfway of the show here. But also, looking at this here, it appears that early audits are coming in on the 3 different COVID relief packages. So now that all that money, and I mean all that money, I think it totaled out to be close to $5 trillion worth of aid, maybe even more than that. We're starting to understand that there was fraud, believe it or not, folks. We're thinking it's going to be north of $400 billion. I'm thinking it's going to be way north of $400 billion before it's all said and done. But that's what they're saying. And the funny thing is, the Small Business Administration, who's never really had a huge part in our government, was tasked with doing this with a very limited workforce. Once again, probably poor foresight. I'll even say it on both administrations, Trump and the Biden administration, because now it's been left up to them to possibly look at potential cases, about 80,000 potential cases, and they have come back with analysis saying it will take them approximately 100 years with the staffing they have to go through 80,000 cases. So just know this, if you cheated the government out of money during one of those COVID, they're coming for you unless you die. And there's a good chance that's going to happen before they get to you if it's going to take 100 years. Just thought that was a interesting tidbit to throw out there. 100 years to do these cases, Joe. Might take a couple different people on your case will ever get to you there. Also, want to jump into Biden held one of his re-election campaign rallies in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, Joe really likes Philadelphia, and he's been there. See our guys here? All right. Joe really likes Philadelphia a lot. That's where his campaign headquarters were. I don't remember which basement in Philadelphia it was, but it was one of the basements in Philadelphia, obviously, where he had it. So he's gone back there, and it looks like, Joe's being so pro-union. I mean, if you look at all the different legislation they've done, the Build Back or whatever you want to call it, Throwback or something, they have always tweaked it to where union workers get to better play in the game by far, especially like all the credits on electric vehicles had to be from a union plant. All these different things have to be from a union this, union that. I'm not saying unions are good. I'm not saying they're bad. I do know this. They put an unfair advantage usually in the marketplace, and usually because of that, goods cost more. So that's coming from the employer of myself, not the employee. But they did start chanting 4 more years, and I think the reason is they're getting ready to endorse him 16 months before the election. So no matter who else gets in, I guess, on the Democratic side, Joe Biden is the AFL-CIO's man. And I think one of the reasons that they decided, because they own Joe and his policies, why not have 4 more years of them? They haven't felt the same effects, in my opinion, as a lot of the rest of us have out here in America. So this is going to be an interesting race for the White House. I wonder if the Democrats didn't do the 37 counts on Donald Trump to make sure that Donald ended up being the nominee from the Republican side. Maybe they feel like they got an advantage there. I don't think they did it to really put him in prison. I think they did it for different reasons. We'll figure this out. Maybe I'm giving them a lot more credit than they deserve. I don't know. I do have a few other things here before we go to our break. Oop, I don't want to flip it too far. Joe, I can't get back to where I was. All right. And here's something a lot of people don't realize, especially living on the East Coast, but I understand it, being one that works something with freight and whatnot, even getting stuff from Malaysia that we use because you can't find the products are not made here in the United States because of EPA reasons. They've chosen not to. But after a year plus negotiation, the West Coast dock workers and port authorities have reached a tentative agreement. Now, I'm sure some people are saying right now, what's that got to do with me? Well, it has a lot to do with you, considering that a lot of these container ships and supply ships have set off the coast of California, Oregon, Washington. We're talking 29 ports up and down the Pacific coast. All the dock workers, they were set out there for months at a time. Crews have been switched out as they sit out there anchored, waiting to get unloaded. So what there's been is an incredible slowdown of unloading these ships while the negotiations are going on. Even though they're supposed to be working, they've just taking forever to get stuff unloaded. So they finally have come to some kind of an agreement, it looks like. And we'll see if this picks up the pace on getting these container ships unloaded. It's very, very expensive when they come through the canal, the Panama Canal, and come up, especially if they have to go all the way around the Cape down there, South America and up. That's almost impossible. So when you got to go through the Panama Canal to get stuff to the East Coast, it's much easier to dock it on the West Coast, either truck it or load it on train in container and then pull it across the United States of America and then distribute it out from there through trucks and whatnot. 80% approximately of goods that come from the Asian markets, and I'm not just talking about China, I'm talking about whether it be Vietnam, whether it be even India falls into that category, or even Japan, any of those different Taiwan, any country there. So about 80% of Asian commerce comes through these 29 ports. And it was bad during COVID, and it has not gotten any better since because of this labor issue. If it makes you feel any better, well, it shouldn't. Makes you feel any worse, maybe is a better way to put it. The first negotiation thrown out by the United Dock Workers there on the West Coast was in a 3-year period. By the end of it, they wanted their salary to be doubled. So over a 3-year period, their salary would go up basically 33% each year till they got to double. So that was what they were asking for. So now, and I'm sure they work hard. I'm not negating them on their money, but I am telling you, no matter what this negotiation pans out, it's going to be very, very expensive to have stuff shipped in here. So once again, maybe we think about making some of our own products here. Highly possible that might even be more economical. I don't know. One thing that is real important, going to hit on this before we go to break. The Federal Reserve held the interest rate this time. So this is the first time, I think, in 6 or 7 meetings, they did not raise the interest rate 1/4 or 0.5% to try to slow inflation. Now, they do say that there's a high possibility to go up next month. So they're waiting to see. Inflation has backed off a little bit, but now we understand with the cutback in OPEC and fuel prices. And here's the funny thing, y'all folks, I think I've told you this before on the air. Food and basically gasoline, they're not figured into that inflation index. So think about that. If they were in, you think it's 6%? No, it's a lot more, especially with food right now, and has been with gas, although it's come back down. But now with the cutback, it's probably going up. So this is going to be interesting to see where the Fed goes. We still haven't closed down on our spending. The last thing they kicked through Congress and the president signed, it went from $4 trillion less to $4 trillion more, $8 trillion swing. We got issues, so we got to figure this out. Until they quit spending, raising the interest rates really ain't going to have the same effect, and it's really going to be difficult. So what it's going to do is going to stifle the economy, but it's not going to cure the inflation issues. So we've got to work on these things. And unfortunately, it seems like nobody wants to. So we're going to go to break now. Stay with us. Going to have Commissioner Scotty Brown in here any second.
Local news and weather now.
Near 80, the low tonight around 67, tomorrow's high 64. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
All right, back here for the second half of the show. Should be interesting. We're going to talk county politics. I talk state and federal all the time, but we're going to get it back closer to home here. I'm going to take his headset off. I don't need it now. I got Commissioner Scotty Brown in the studio with me. Scotty, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you calling me.
For people that don't, tell them who you are. Surely everybody knows you by now.
Well, if you don't, you should, because you never know. I might run for president someday. But no, I'm Scotty Brown. I own Zootastic Park in this county. I own Aloha Safari Park in Harnett County. So we're big in North Carolina. I love North Carolina. Born and raised in Iredell County. I get tired of people saying that we don't have representation in the southern part. I was born in Mooresville, lived in Mooresville till 2001. Everybody think I'm from Troutman. I'm not from Troutman. I moved to Troutman when the traffic got so bad in Mooresville. Now it looks like I'm going to have to leave Troutman because the traffic's getting bad in Troutman.
You're going to have to end up being in downtown Olin. And they got a bridge out, so it ain't much better there.
I'm thinking Love Valley.
Peaceful. We're about to get the sewer situation under hand just in time.
I'm just waiting to start flushing, and I'm going to move up there. But it's the traffic. It's we know it. We feel it. I get calls every day. People asking me, "Can I fix the traffic? Can I fix the traffic?" And a lot of people don't like the budget, but they don't understand a couple things. One thing I keep telling people, and I got a woman chewed me pretty hard today. She said, "I said, I'm trying to keep traffic down." She said, "How does not lowering the tax rate keep the budget down?" I said, "Well, if we lower it too much, everybody's going to leave Mecklenburg County and move to Iredell County. We already got traffic problems. We don't want to add to it." So we're working on it.
And we'll just jump right in. All right. So we had this reappraisal, and we come back about 42%.
Right.
Increase, and I looked and compared to some other counties, we're actually, our increase was less than a lot.
Right.
You're looking down at Catawba, come in at 69%. And I don't know what the crap they did the last appraisal. I don't think Catawba's that great, but maybe it is.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about Catawba. Catawba had they hired a new county manager, and they hired a new tax guy there, and they found some properties. Catawba found a lot of property, especially on the lake, that was not being taxed at all. And they found some lots there that were being taxed $1,200. Okay. So they found a pot of gold in Catawba.
They found it at 69%. So, folks, I know you're out there complaining about your reappraisal, but it could have been worse.
That's right.
It could have been worse. So we're 42%. That's the largest increase I can ever remember in my lifetime.
Right.
And that's a double-edged sword. Everybody freaked out, and I get it. And I kept trying to tell them all. I said, just wait. The appraisal is not your final tax. The bill that comes is your final tax.
That's right.
So we'll see where we go from here. And I said I believe that the commissioners will lower the tax rate to get us back to some point where we are. Now, we've talked about this part, and maybe I ought to save it for the end so everybody can live happily ever after, but I'll go ahead and say it now. Here's going to be the thing that's going to be tricky for y'all. There's a good chance 4 years from now that y'all may have an appraisal that could be negative.
Right.
Or at least flat. And I know a lot of people out there are saying, well, that would be wonderful. That would be great. Okay. Iredell has been very blessed to have a low tax rate, and we've done it for a lot of different ways. But one of the things that's really blessed us is we've won some geographical lotteries. Having a lake has helped us, but also having 2 interstates has helped us. So our land values have been fairly good to allow us to have a low rate. So now it looks like we're becoming the belle of the ball. Troutman is exploding. Mooresville has exploded. Even Statesville, the fuse is lit, so it won't be long. I really believe that Troutman in 7 years will be bigger than Statesville for a bit.
Yeah.
And then Statesville has the ability to grow farther north, so Troutman will get, I guess, encapsulated to a point. There's only so much there. But it'll be curious to see what happens. And the reason I'm bringing this up, inflation normally runs around 2.5%. Mm-hmm. So that from year to year, stuff goes up just a little bit. Stuff goes up just a little bit. Now, Joe Biden has really changed that progression. He's jumped it up. He's put about 4 years' worth of inflation in one. And so the question is, if we don't bring inflation back down, then government, just like everybody else who's purchasing and consuming, your costs are going up.
Right.
Your costs are going up to maintain this county. And like I said, 4 years from now, you get a negative reappraisal, you're in a mess. There's a good chance you may have to raise the property tax rate back up. No, we ain't saying they're going to.
No,
we're just saying,
we don't want to.
We're just saying they might have to.
Anything's possible, but that's where we have a great team. The guys that work for the county, our county manager, they don't look at today, tomorrow. They look for 5 years in advance, and we're looking at that. 4 years from now for the next appraisal, and it's some people have asked me, why did we jump up so much? Well, we've got some things that we've been waiting on, and with the reevaluation, we're able to do it now. But see, next year we'll have extra money, so we won't have to raise taxes. And the next year we still have some extra money, and the next year we'll still have some extra because we're knocking off some things that we've got to build this new health department. I mean, people don't understand why. Come out there, we'll show you. We need a new.
The road's going to cut it in two.
Right, the roads. That's what they don't understand. If they come in and let us show them, they'll see the road's going right through the building. But we've been planning on that for years. The fairground is not a necessary need, but it's something we need to do. It's a want thing, but we're not taking taxpayers' money. We're taking your money. It's state money, but we're working on that.
We're trying to give you as much as we can.
And we appreciate you. So, but we're working on that slow. That's not one we're going to jump in there. The sheriff's department, we know. I mean, we're not stupid. Sooner or later, we got to build another sheriff's department. They are double desking in there right now, so we've got to get that done. But our main thing is the schools. I mean, if we don't realize that all the building is coming, and it's funny, a lady told me the other day, she says, I know how you can fix this. I said, well, tell me. I'm not the smartest man in the world. Tell me how to fix it. She said, stop selling building permits. And I said, there you go. Well, if we could do that, we would do that. But, but we all know that's not legal, and we can't do it. So, and I told her it wasn't legal, and she called me some bad names, but that was all right. But it is illegal for us to do that, and we can't do it. But we know all these houses are coming here because we are low tax. We're one of the lowest taxes. We've been one of the lowest around. This, with the reevaluation, we're not going to be quite as low. But you're also going to see these counties that are not doing as good a job as we're doing, you're going to see their tax increase next year. The ones that lowered it too much, they can't stay there.
Well, and that's going to be the thing. Hopefully, y'all have found a sweet spot. You won't know, because you don't know the future, and you don't know if inflation is going to get worse.
Right.
You don't know if it's going to get better. If Joe Biden gets in, I don't look for a lot of help. I think it'll remain high because we'll continue to spend money.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, Donald Trump, with that first COVID package, ran the deficit up too.
That's exactly right.
We spent a lot of money in his term, but I'm going to cut him a little slack. We didn't know what animal we were working with when COVID first hit us. We weren't sure how severe it was and what it was going to do.
No, it was scary.
Yeah, by the time Joe Biden got around, we kind of knew it, but yet they still had ideas they needed to spend. And it seemed like that last bit was the icing on the cake that really sent inflation out the roof. And it's come off a little bit, but not much. But, if y'all are building, then y'all are buying concrete, you're buying block steel, you're buying all the things that are ungodly expensive right now that have not really come off. Building materials, lumber has come down a little bit, but steel hasn't come down, and concrete hasn't really come down that I've seen. No. So that's going to be interesting to see if y'all got yourself in that sweet spot or not as far as where you're at with this ad valorem tax. I'm hoping you do. And a lot of people are screaming and hollering, well, they're raising my taxes. Why didn't they go revenue neutral? Well, like you said, there's a school that we're still not sure of what the price tag is. They've come out with a new number and saying they think they can do it for this. And I think that'll be the most expensive high school in the state of North Carolina until the next one's built, I guess.
So far, I'm not sure it's not the most expensive in the United States, but that's, we the commissioners know we need a high school. We know, I was just talking to a teacher Saturday night, I think it was, and she was talking about Shepherd School. They're putting up mobile units. We know we need elementary. We know we're going to need a middle school. This is not something that we're not paying attention to, but, are we talking about it? Not real loud because we're already aware of that. And so, we don't want to. People think, now we're going to have to do another bond. We are trying to work future that we don't have to do a bond. We just put back $10 million for the next school. And then next year we're going to put back another $10 million. The park that we're building will be done next year. We put back $17 million for that. So that $17 million next year in the budget will go either to a school or to go to the health department. So, we put back a lot of stuff. We're making future plans. But, the people that have voted us in there, let us do our job. We're business people. We know what's going on. You're a businessman. You have lots of property. I have lots of property. My taxes went way up. Oh, my gosh. When I got my tax bill, and my reval, I about died. But but I'm Iredell County also. I'm not going anywhere. And we're going to keep on going and going. And, I was listening to your first part of your show, and the people that get me is the people that think Joe Biden's here to help the lower class or middle class. And I can tell you, it's what he's doing is making the richer richer. And that's fact. I mean, it's if you've got money in the bank, the rich people are the ones got money in the bank, their interest rate, they're making, before they was making 1% on the money. Now just bank money, they're making 5 and 6%. You got a lot of money in the bank. That's a lot of money.
Well, and here's the thing, too, that it's great to say, well, we're going to tax the rich. We're going to make them pay their fair share. We're going to, you know what? You can say that all you want to, but they got lawyers, they got accountants, they got stuff in other countries, offshore accounts.
That's right.
You keep trying to stick that pin on that tail on that donkey and see how far you get. But it sounds great, and unfortunately, it gets the poor and some even the middle class to believe, we're going to do that. And do you see it? No, you never do.
No.
I heard the same thing in Obama. I heard the same thing with Clinton. It's a great battle cry that they got. The best thing you can do is raise all boats, not try to villainize the higher income people. Raise all boats. That's the answer, because they'll figure out a way. Here's what I always say: if you got money, you don't have to live in America. You can live anywhere you want to, no matter where your thing are. Or you can move to Florida, where there's zero income tax on the state side, and they do a whole lot of different things to buffer the state. And actually, it works for you some on your federal side. There's plenty of ways. We have all kind of different incorporations. So anybody thinks that that's going to be the plan and that's how that's going to work, well, I don't know what you're smoking, but it ain't legal yet in North Carolina. So,
not yet. It's coming.
All right, we're gonna fight like crap to keep that out.
I hope you do.
We'll see.
That's
but now I do look at this and see where we got money going to go into the capital improvement fund. So we're sticking money back. How much is it going to take to finish Jennings Park up there? What do we got?
$17 million.
$17 million.
Yeah.
And when we do, that'll be a jewel.
Yeah.
Especially for the northern part of the county, but for all of Statesville. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different things up there. I know there's actually going to be a handicap facility there,
Right.
That's open to all the public. There's another one in the county, but it's more of a private
Right, it is
public
private.
partnership. So this one here, because I know I worked to help get some money
Get the
for
grant.
that, get that grant for them. So that'll be a wonderful thing. I know the people in the south end of the county are hollering, well, that ain't doing me much good up there, but we're going to spend money down there too. I know ball fields are set up, and we're looking at doing different things in the parks and the boat ramps and all that too. So
We have Stumpy Creek. It's a great park. If you hadn't been there, go try it out. But before I was a commissioner, I was like a lot of the public. I said, why do we want to spend money on parks? Why do we want to do this? And then I had this one business that we were all talking to and about coming to North Carolina, coming to Iredell County, and the guy says, my people don't want to come here because y'all don't have a walking trail. And I said, what the heck does a walking trail have to do with y'all bringing your business here? He said, because our people want one. And we're going to move to where you've got this. So then I started paying attention. These big companies that come here and spend $100 million, they have wants and needs for their people.
wellness.
And that's right. So the Jennings Park is several things. It's the northern part of the county, which we don't have anything up there, and they're building it to bring in revenue. It's kind of like the fairground. We're saying that the fairground's going to make money, or we're not going to finish it. We're going to do phase one. We have the money. If it's not showing a profit on phase one, we're not going to build phase two. I mean, we're not stupid. We're not going to waste money. But Jennings Park, we got a big grant for that, and we started out with that. We can't do anything. It's kind of like building a high school. We can't do anything about the money of it costing more. But from what we're seeing, and from the other companies, the other counties that I've went to, these places are bringing in so much revenue for the restaurants, the motels, and that's what it's about. We serve all of Iredell County, whether it's a municipality or whatever. We serve the county, and we want to make sure that there's people coming in here. And when you got people coming in from other counties, that's somebody else's money. And I'm all about you spend your money in my county.
Yeah.
So that's what we're drawing.
Well, one thing too, once you actually, like I said, get into the inside part of working in government to a point, you see things you don't realize, just like you said. And one thing that I think probably a lot of us in the ag sector don't realize is if people have a place to go recreate,
right,
then maybe they're not going to look for that 3 to 5 acre little mini farm to
Right.
do their own recreating, and they may be willing to stay in town or in a subdivision or something
Yeah.
and enjoy the park instead of going out here trying to figure out how to eat up the farmland. And so it actually pays and helps agriculture to make sure we have a good recreational system in the county to alleviate some of the want and need of space, because people, nobody wants to be elbow to elbow with everybody all day long. But if you can go and get outdoors and go and you can play ball or walk the trails, or they got all kind of different things up at
Right.
Jennings Park, and you got the water at Stumpy Creek and different things there, then they feel like they maybe have a little bit more space and things are just more comforting
right.
to them. And to me, I think it gives you the feeling that Iredell County's more of a rural county than it is necessarily growing towards a more metropolis county. Even though when you start going down south, you run into the traffic and you realize, oh crap! So
Yeah. I'm in Charlotte. But I'm not.
Exactly.
But the people don't understand too is there's another person, and I get a lot of emails being a commissioner, and I'm fine with it. People can call me. I prefer you call me on my phone. My phone number's listed. Call me, talk to me. I'll take chewings. I chose to run, and I'm willing to take the chewings. But give me a chance to talk to you a little bit. And but there's so many people that don't understand why we do certain things. So if you talk to me and let me tell you why we do them. There's reasoning behind everything, and we have to make everything equal. We want to keep our businesses in our farmland in Stageville Farm if we can. But who am I to tell a farmer that inherited his grandfather's farm that's out here losing money not to sell it? It's not my choice to tell them that. But also, I had somebody the other day. They got onto us pretty hard about the turning some farmland into commercial land. And they said, well, we don't want it in commercial. I said, what do you want us to keep it, RA? And they said, well, yeah, we prefer it. I said, so we can put 80 houses there. Would you rather have 80 houses or one commercial business there? And they said, oh, we'd rather have a commercial business. People don't understand. These houses, and they think I'm, as a commissioner and owning Zootastic, I want houses because I want the people. For every house we build in Iredell County, we lose money because it takes, I think, $2,300 of tax money to put one kid in school. You come move in this county and you bring 2 kids. Now you're talking about a $350,000 house for one kid. Now you start going 2.
I did the math on it here a while back, and it was taking a $320. So it's probably a $450,000 house. Which, with where the property taxes are, it was a $350,000
That's right,
house.
it was. It brought itself up. But people don't understand that we want the commercial businesses is where we make our money. And then you talk about 4 years from now, we have a great economic development group here that they are really working hard with us, Mooresville, Statesville, and we're bringing in some really good businesses. And these guys, they pay they're big money. They pay big taxes. So if we can bring in more commercial, especially up here at 77 and 40, that can offset 4 years from now. So we're getting there, and we've got still some things going down in Mooresville. Mooresville's running out of land. I'm sorry, Charlotte's running out of land. Mooresville's running out of land. Troutman's got land.
It won't be long. Troutman goes.
That's right. Troutman's going to go crazy. It is what it is. We don't have the ability to tell people you got to stay here. You got to stay here. We're free to move wherever we want to. It's just like the First Amendment. You're free to speak. You're free to move, and that's what's great about the United States. So, you might not like some things, but trust me that we are doing exactly what we think we should do. We're protecting your money, protecting your dollars, but trying to figure out, giving things away for free like, the other side does when they say we're giving this away. That's like dropping your taxes down to neutral, that we're giving things away. You give it away, and let me tell you something. Do you like, how safe? Iredell County is one of the safest counties in the state of North Carolina. Do you want to let that go? You want to tell the sheriff we're not going to hire any more deputies, so you got to stay with what you got? We're already are one of the lowest paid sheriff's department and the lowest crime rates for the lowest amount of officers out there. Listen, it costs to be safe. And the sheriff has been great about, he doesn't stick it to us, and we're doing great. But he's doing a good job. We're doing a good job. Just give us a chance to do our job.
All right. Darren Campbell just wants you to know that was an official governmental endorsement for you there. So anyway, no, I'm just teasing. Darren does. Those guys do a good job. They do. I like I said, I think a lot of people wish that the sheriff's department made a bigger presence in some municipalities. We won't go no farther than that one. We'll just let that one be. Well, all right. The good news in this, and I looked over the budget, our projected debt is going down.
Right.
Now, that's for now. There's always more to be bought, but at least we are in a descending moment in our debt. And I think one of the bonds is going to come due, I want to say it's next year or the next year. Right. I don't know. It usually falls on an election cycle year because we do it for
2024, years. I think, is when it comes off. And that's interest. See, we're trying to figure where we don't have to pay interest, especially with this high dollar interest. So we did have to borrow $40 million for this new school. We did have that figured in the budget. Schools are schools. We've talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. How do we do this?
I mean, you got your private partner, public. You got your PPP. Private-public partnership that we looked at. I mean, we looked at a lot of different things. There's the leasing of schools. There's a lot of things you look at. I kind of struggle with the leasing part of school, but I mean, I just feel like if you're a county and you're in decent financial shape, it's good to own property. It's good to have buildings because we want to build these buildings the last 40, 50 years.
50 years.
At least.
Yeah.
And so that's critical.
Yeah.
So these things are tough. So I guess, we're working down our time here. We got about 3 minutes left here. What's your pitch that you tell people? Because, you look and their taxes are going up. Right. They are. Because of the appraisal and where we set it. So what do you say to them? What do you say?
Well, what I want people to understand is the people that I really, really care about, and I care about everybody. I'm Iredell County. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or what you're independent. But the people that worry me is, I talked to a lady that's 87 years old, lived on Lake Norman. She didn't ask for that lake. It came to her. Yeah. So my heart goes out to her because her taxes doubled. But, I talked to her, met with, she didn't have a clue that she could be on a 65-year program. So there are programs out there that we're working with. We're trying to come up with some other things for the older people, the Iredell Countyans have been here their whole life. That lake is great but it's also it hurts some people. You know, when she lives in a single wide trailer on Lake Norman and doesn't want to leave because she's 87 years old, and that trailer's worth $450,000. That trailer ain't worth a dime. It's the lot that's worth that. But you know, I feel for her. She's the one I care about that I really want to. The ones that live in the $2 million houses, they can afford their taxes. I'm sorry, just like me. You know, we all have problems, but I my heart goes out to the ones that have the need. My mom, she gets $800 some a month Social Security. You can't buy gas for that. So you know, call us if we can help you. You know, we're here to do as much as we can.
And I think there's some stuff in there for disability
there
too.
Is.
So you got disability
veterans.
side. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things, and we're working on more stuff on the state side.
Right. We got to work together. Yeah. And I think with you and Vicky and Gray, we couldn't ask for much better because we guys worked really good together.
I think we're going to hang Shanghai ourselves though. The Senate's budget they sent back over, depending on what happens with inflation, to me it looks like somewhere or another, and they showed me, and I can do math too, there could be anywhere from a $6 to $8 billion deficit in about 26, 27. So I don't know if we can do all that we think we can do. We're still working on the tax package in this budget. That's one of the things that's taking so long.
Right.
They don't believe our math, and I don't know how math lies, to tell you the truth, but I guess it can.
Depends on if you're doing Common Core now.
That's it. So we got about 30 seconds. But folks, do know this: there's going to be some stuff done. Jennings Park's going to get finished. We got a school that we're going to be able to go forward on. That's been in the groundworks for 2 years now, and 3 years, and so hopefully Iredell County, we're going to continue to grow and spend money, and that's just where we're at. And hopefully we're going to spend it wisely, and we won't have to raise the tax rate. We'll be able to hold. So let's just pray for that. Yes. We got about 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and go to prayer, and we're about to end it here. Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, we just thank you. Thank you for our many, many blessings. Iredell County is a diverse county, and it is a wonderful place to live. And I thank you that I was born here and I'm able to represent. Lord, I pray for Prior Cross and all the things going on with them. I pray, Lord, if there's people out there who want to donate and give money, it's a worthy cause. They're bringing people to Christ, and they're cleaning them and getting them back into society and making something, Lord. So be with them. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Y'all take care.
You've been listening to North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely.